Hey, what is up, beautiful people? Kirby Hasseman here, trying to deliver you just a little bit more marketing joy. And today I want to talk about standing out in any career, any business, standing out in any field. But, I think we are trained at an early age that we really should just fit in. We should, just go with the flow. We should, kind of go with the crowd because, we're kind of made fun of. People tell us we're weird. People kind of say, hey, why don't you come back over here? But I think it's interesting because most of the people that we admire, the people that we look up to, the thought leaders in any industry are the ones who stand out. They have kind of gone with the courage of their convictions. And so today I want to talk about how to stand out. Now, if you're enjoying these pieces of content, please feel free to subscribe. Please feel free to share. That's the way that we kind of spread the word. If you would rate the podcast, that would help as well. So let's dive in to the 4 things I think you can do, 4 of the things that you can do to stand out in any area that you're looking to grow, whether it's your career, whether it's volunteerism, no matter what industry it is. These are 4 things that I think will translate to helping you stand out. So first up, push out positivity. Most of what we see in the world is negative. So if you want to be different than what we see, then being positive makes sense, right? So I think the studies will tell you that 89% of what we see in the world today is negative. And gosh, I think with the advent of social media and the fact that this is an election year, 89% feels actually a little bit low. So, one of my favorite authors is Mike Michalowicz. He's written Profit First and Get Different and The Pumpkin Plan, some amazing books. And one of the things that he says is that we all are trying to be better, right? But in the eyes of our customer, in the minds of our customer, better isn't different. Different is better. Right? So what we want to do is be different. We want to stand out. And one of the ways that we can do that is just simply by pushing out positivity on a consistent basis. And by the way, that has the added benefit of attracting other people who want to be positive, want to push out good things into the universe. Because one of the things I know to be true is that complainers, people who are constantly negative, people who are constantly moaning and complaining about their lot in life, they attract other complainers. And the same is true for those people who push out positivity. They attract people who want to make the world better. So the first thing that you want to do, the first thing that I recommend anybody does that if they want to stand out in the field is just simply push out positivity. Now I want to tell you that it takes effort, right? It takes mental toughness in order to not get sucked into the drama because it's everywhere around us. So, but I think that if you do that, if you seek it out, you will find it. I've talked about this before. When you start to look for things to be grateful for, when you start to look for things to be excited about, your subconscious mind starts to show it to you, but you have to work at it. So number 1 thing, push out positivity and you will stand out. Number 2, create merch with style. Look, of course, my organization does branded merch. And so, I would say that, of course, we're going to tell you to do branded merch, but I think it's really important to not just do branded merch. Do branded merch with style. Do branded merch with quality. You don't want to create brand fill. Do not be handing out things that are just going to end up in the trash can. That's not good for your brand. It's not good for the environment. It's just not good. And so one of the things that I would say is think deeply about your brand guidelines. Allow yourself to be creative and then invest in things that represent your brand well. Those are things that are useful, that have great decoration. These are the ways that you get people to utilize your branded merch every day and they become proud ambassadors of your brand. So if you want to stand out, if you want to stand out in your organization, in your industry, create merch with style. Don't just put a logo on anything. Be intentional about it. And when you start to see people going, oh, that's my favorite t-shirt. That's my favorite tumbler. That's the thing I want to carry around because it's like, it is the tattoo, right? Harley Davidson, if you're down with that, man, you might actually tattoo that on your arm. Not my thing. But those people who are wannabes, they want to be ambassadors of your organization. The first thing they're going to do is look at your merch. So create merch with style. That's number 2. Number 3, if you want to stand out in any industry, create what I call give first content. a lot of content is really not content. It's advertising in disguise. We're trying to fit in as many calls to action. We're trying to create as many ways that we can try and sell within the content, because that allows us to justify. If you want to stand out, create actual give first content. That's the kind of content that entertains us. We would seek it out whether we're at work or at home. Create that kind of fun content. When you do that, people will seek you out. Or it's the kind of content that just answers questions. When I'm coaching people on jumping into social media, creating content, the first thing I tell them to do is just to make a list of the top 10 questions you get every single day for your, whatever that industry is, that product is, and just honestly do a deep dive in answering it. Don't try and sell it. One of the most read blogs on our blog post is, what does a custom t-shirt cost? It's one of those things that we get asked all the time, but it's really hard to answer, because it's a little bit like, well, what does a car cost? What does a house cost? It all depends. But your buyers don't understand why it depends. They think you're just you're kind of being vague and being elusive. You're not. And so create content that says, well, if you want to know what a t-shirt costs, what kind of t-shirt, what kind of sizing, what's the decoration technique, what's the, all of the things that go into it. Write a blog post that explains all of that without trying to sell them anything. That's give first. It's content that actually provides value without trying to get the gotcha moment at the end where it's like, click here to buy now. If you want to stand out, one of the ways is to give first, because I think as humans, we are looking for the manipulation, right? We've been beat up by the rule of reciprocity so many times, because we're like, oh, okay, they're giving me something, so clearly they're trying to get something back. When you give without an expectation, number one, it's actually giving. Because if you give with the expectation that you're going to buy back from me, it's not generous. It's a transaction. So standing out means that you're providing value with no expectation of return. And the great irony behind that is that when you give with no expectation of return, once people understand that, they're more likely to do business with you, right? So understand that a way to stand out is to create what I call give first content. And number 4, the final one, is just do more. There has never been a time where it has been easier to stand out in the world. All your competitors, all the other people in your industry are trying to watch videos about hacks on how can I do less and get a bigger return. Now, I know everybody's like, you should work smarter, not harder. Sure, but you could also work smarter and harder. If you want to stand out in any given field, just do more. Do more calls, do more content, do more give first content, give more value, be more kind, care more, just do more. When you do all of those things, push out more positivity, create more merch with style, give first more through content, do all of those things and do them more. And I promise that you will start to stand out. Now, one of the big things I would say, and this has happened to me, is that when you do more, people will start to tell you, hey, pump the brakes there. Pump the brakes. You're getting out of line. You're doing things that are weird, like I talked about at the beginning. I have definitely heard that, and I have definitely been like, oh gosh, maybe I should pump the brakes. Maybe I should back it off. I want to tell you, that means you're on the right track. Keep going. If anything, double down, right? When the folks who are a little bit less excited about your journey and your progress, that they are the ones who are going to tell you that, oh man, you need to stop posting content. But there's a ton of people that you're probably serving and inspiring that will become your tribe, that will become your customers and prospects down the road. So just do more. So once again, push out positivity, create merch with real style, create give first content, and then ultimately just do more. All of those things will help you stand out in whatever industry you are working in. So if this has provided you any value, please feel free to subscribe and share it, and we will keep spreading the word. Thanks so much.